Okay. No, the sound hasn't gone. It's just me putting on the mute. I hope people can hear me. So now we'll sit quietly again for a few minutes with the breath awareness, because think, given the situation that we spoke about in the motivation, it's very important that we tame our minds, isn't it? Tame our minds and generate the great compassion, Bodhichitta, also through understanding the nature of reality, how things exist, how to see things as they really are. So important, essential. So we start by calming the mind. So some stillness in the body, sense of relaxation, and together with that, sense of being very attentive to the in-breath and the out-breath, not getting carried away by the thought processes, but recognizing, letting go, and coming back to the breath. A sense of ease, a sense of precision together. Okay, so I don't have my gong with me, so please start now. Okay. Gradually get ready for the more verbal part of the session. So again, thank you, everybody. And I hope we can make the most of the next almost 1 hour. So let's get cracking. And this very clear, powerful verses coming up, which I think not so difficult to understand, but hard to put into practice, of course. Okay. So remember, he's engaging in what we might call analytical meditation in these verses. When we don't analyze, when we don't use reasoning, it's very easy to get swayed by emotion, by our preconceived ideas. But if we use reasoning, if we analyze, if we check, then often things change. We can see things from another perspective. And Shantideva is, of course, engaging in this throughout the book, and also very much in this chapter, which is meditation. So whether it's generation of a kind of weariness or sorrow or samsara, which is the verses we're going through now, or whether later in the chapter, Shantideva is talking about generating the mind of enlightenment, the Bodhichitta, through the practice of equalizing and exchanging self for others. Whatever it is in this chapter, all of it is based on this power of analysis and reasoning, Vishleshan, and this is so important not to ignore this. It can really help us. So if we think, oh, I can just generate powerful states of mind, by doing, by just engaging in non-conceptual meditation, trying to banish thoughts from my mind, and somehow merge with space or something. That's all very well, but when you come out of that meditation and you have to face reality, it can be problematic. Whereas if we rationally, logically, powerfully go through things through reasoning, that can provide a very firm foundation for positive action and for coping with difficulties, and giving up a biased love and a biased compassion. Anyway, let's carry on. I'll just read the last 2 verses, which were very powerful. For if I act like those who are like children, sure it is that I shall fall to lower states. This is chapter 8, verse 9. So why keep company with children and go with them in ways that lead so far away from virtue, from goodness? One moment they are friends, in the next moment they become bitter enemies. Even pleasant things can arouse their discontent. Worldly people, it's very hard to please them. Very hard to please worldly people. People caught up in the 8 worldly feelings, yeah? Pleasure and pain, gain and loss, praise and blame, good reputation, bad reputation. Most worldly people, that's what we're concerned with all day long. So it's very hard to really please such people for long periods. A beneficial word, now verse 11, one beneficial word and they can resent it, while all they do is to turn me from goodness. And if I close my ears to what they're saying, then their anger burns and becomes the cause of lower realms. I'll just have the other translation at hand. Yep. They are angry when something of benefit is said. They turn me away from what is beneficial. And if I don't listen to what they say, they become angry, and hence they proceed to lower realms. He's describing ordinary people, yeah, and we may see something of ourselves in this, and it becomes sometimes quite embarrassing. So what else about ordinary people? Verse 12, envious of superiors, competitive with equals, arrogant towards inferiors. They are conceited when they are praised. And if anything unpleasant is said, they become angry. Never is any benefit derived from the childish. This is very powerful stuff, yeah? What good was ever had from childish folk? Of course, Bodhisattva transforms every situation into the path, but here we're talking about beginner level. You know, ordinary people just confuse our minds, make us all also think in the same way, make us annoyed, make us angry, you know. Excuse me. Distract us, all these things. So what good do we get from worldly people? You know, they're trying to help us maybe, but in the end, it's just a lot of wastage of time and a stimulating of the disturbing emotions. Through associating with the childish, there will certainly come about unwholesomeness, such as praising myself, belittling others, putting others down, and discussing the joys of cyclic existence. Yehi hota hai. You know, how much, when we're, gossiping with people without awareness, maybe not so much now, because we are hopefully a bit more aware of the Dharma, and we are older than when we were, 10 or 20 years ago. But when we were younger, do you remember how often one wasted time talking about other people's faults, praising oneself or seeking praise for oneself, talking about how wonderful life is, ordinary samsaric existence, how wonderful it is, this holiday, that holiday, this restaurant, that restaurant, this all these things, which of course are not bad, but the emphasis we put on them and the expectation that they can bring us some kind of real happiness, this is all nonsense from the dharmic point of view. This is a waste of time if we don't have the bodhisattva motivation, if we are not using these experiences to benefit others out of compassion and understanding of emptiness and at least impermanence, then it's all a waste of time, really, from the dharmic point of view. It's, we're just prolonging distraction, basically. It feels enjoyable, of course, that's why we do it, but it's not benefiting us long term. Devoting myself to other people in this way will bring about nothing but misfortune, because they won't benefit me and I won't benefit them. See this about. Only ruin can result from links like these between yourself and others. But they'll bring no benefit to you, and you in turn can bring them nothing good. So with this verse, the previous one about how we, have envy towards those who are superior, competitive towards equals, and looking down on people we think are inferior, which, let's face it, we do a lot. I found this a lot in India, actually, when I came back from England, more than in England, because of the way I found people treat people here of lower castes or working people who, clean our shoes or sweep our roads or our, servants. It seemed to me there was a different way of talking to such people, a different tone of voice, which really upset me when I first came back to India. Now I got used to it, and I try not to engage in that myself as much as possible. But anyway, what does Pema Chodron say about this? We're jealous of those who are wealthier, more popular, better looking, have better jobs, competitive with our equals. People have told me that. So much competitiveness in, especially, in all of life, but in the corporate world, so much competitiveness, it was driving them nuts. But for one reason or another, they couldn't leave their jobs. To those so-called beneath us, we are scornful and proud, or we might say we are, just sometimes even inhumane, you might say, or we don't treat them really as a human being sometimes. We don't speak to them nicely. We speak to our pet animals nicer than we speak to some people sometimes. So, we're like that. But if we think about it, if we are practicing, we can easily turn these situations, she's saying, into dharma practice. How? So with our superiors, we could practice sympathetic joy. We could actually rejoice in people who are better than us, more handsome than us, richer than us, whatever, Thus, their situation in that way would bring us benefit because we're utilizing that in a very good way. Instead of being competitive with people we think are equals, we could generate respect, kindness, respect, And with those below us, or people who are less, privileged, less fortunate, who have jobs which we wouldn't want to do for even 1 minute, cleaning toilets or garbage removal, or, all the different things that need doing, we could treat them out of, with compassion. With compassion. So we up to now, we've got it wrong. We're doing the wrong thing in these situations out of habit. It's a bad habit. So it can be changed. And then in terms of childish people, we just, one thing leads to another. In a discussion, it builds up, and one person is encouraging the other person. Before you know it, people are really talking kind of badly or nonsensically or putting others down, just saying very foolish things. It kind of gets out of control. People are being foolish, people are showing off, all sorts of things. So that's just a waste of time, and it's just negative speech. And it means, from a karmic point of view, doesn't it, that in the future people will not take our words seriously. Even though we try to be serious and, are speaking out of, whatever, some good intention or experience, then people will not listen. People will not consider our words worthwhile listening to. That would be a karmic result of wasting our time in useless speech. Building ourselves up, putting others down. So common. Politicians have to do it all the time, I'm sure. But not only that, it's in many fields of life, I hope. I mean, we can see it in places we work, in classrooms, I mean, teachers' staff rooms. We can see it in, companies. We can see it everywhere. Yeah, and even among families, putting one of the members of the family down, so on and so forth. And then we talk about the good things of samsara, a wonderful vacation, excellent bottle of wine. So we get further caught up in these very fleeting pleasures. And of course, today I told you, I was taken to a very, very fancy restaurant in one of the fanciest hotels in Mumbai, the one where there was the attack, the terrorist attack in 2008. One of the best rooms of that, the best restaurants in that hotel, which overlooks Gateway of India and all the boats there, in the harbor. And first course was excellent, risotto. And then, of course, being half British, I wanted pudding. So there was treacle tart on the menu. I won't mention the price. I mean, I wasn't paying. So treacle tart it was. And the first few mouthfuls, very nice. And I finished it because I didn't want to upset the host. Not that it would have upset this person. They are very open-minded that way, but I wanted to finish it. By the end, a little bit of suffering, definitely. I mean, definitely suffering of suffering, let alone suffering of change, of course. But there was actually, it was very sweet also. And I felt, not so good, but it was wonderful to window and think about that gateway of India and what it must have been like when the King of England came there in 1904 or whenever, and then all the boats in the harbor. It's all very beautiful, very pleasant. And there were 5 monks also, 5 Tibetan tradition monks walking down on the road, so I looked at them. And so many people crowding there outside while we sat in our air-conditioned comfort. So anyway, these good things of samsara, and they don't last, you see. Of course, one can make it beneficial by being grateful for the kindness of the person who gave one the meal, of course. I didn't get up from the table feeling upset, but we want pleasurable taste, sight, sound, smell, etc., touch, and outer objects cannot guarantee any kind of lasting satisfaction whatsoever. But we like talking about them, we like talking about them, and we think they're very important. And then, as she says, and this is a very good point, as beginners, it's very easy to get caught up, hooked into other people's dramas, right? It's like people are acting on a stage and they pull you onto the stage and you have to start acting with them in all of their garbage, all of their hi-hi, all of their tamasha, all of their circus. And of course, if you're married to such a person, to someone, or it's a family situation, then you can't get out of the circus, You're part of the circus. So then what do? You can't retire to the sidelines without being, criticized, ostracized, whatever, and you'll feel guilty. So we're always getting caught up in other people's drama. Hi, hi मचता है तो हम लोग भी फंस जाते हैं उसमें. There's no way to really stay away. So this is problematic, isn't it? Yes. And of course, dramas also in the sense that if you don't have 2 televisions in your house, then you have to watch what the drama the other person is watching, even if you think it's nonsense. You want to watch something else or deeper. You want to watch football. Your wife wants to watch some, ridiculous soap opera in your mind. And, it's problematic. I guess we have smartphones now, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? We are very curtailed. We are limited by our situation, by our mind. And so Prema Chodron makes the statement that the support that we need to dissolve these patterns of behavior will come from solitude. We find time for solitude, which means then we will have time to look at things in perspective, times to analyze, right? Analyze without someone saying, ye karo, wo karo, do this, whatever, we'll have some time to reflect without the noise of other people's opinions nagging, even though it may be well-intentioned. But we can be free of that, begin to, develop our own intelligence without too much distraction. Therefore, verse 15, therefore, I should flee far away from childish people. When they are encountered, though, I should please them by being happy. Wow. I should behave well merely out of courtesy, but not become greatly familiar. Of course, hard to do that with your close family members. You can't, of course, first two lines, yes. You can flee to your bedroom, to your room, which may be a few feet away from other troublesome family members. And when you meet them in the hall or in the dining room, you have to sit and maybe eat with them. Be pleasant. Don't make them unhappy. Try and make them happy. But and behave well. But if you become too familiar with their neuroses, with their circus, with their tamasha, then we're lost. So it's like saying, okay, of course, that's the hardest situation when you live with people in the same house, you're expected to eat together, this and that. Be friendly, but don't be sucked into their way of looking at things. They might make some statement which you think is outrageous about someone or some people or some religion, which you don't agree with at all. So sometimes you just have to keep silent, noble silence. Because you know that by saying something, you will upset the person, and you can't agree with them because you don't agree. They might be saying such and such people are dreadful, terrible, they're the cause of all the suffering, blah, blah, blah. And you don't agree with it. But how we respond to that, we have to be skillful, no? So Shantideva was kind of saying, don't deliberately upset people. Please them, but don't become too familiar, because otherwise their behavior, their opinions, their bias may have a negative effect on our mind. Or at the very least, we can become very annoyed and angry and really fed up with them, and then not behave nicely to them. When actually they may need us in many ways, especially lonely old people, or whatever. People need comforting, right? So how to comfort people without getting caught up in their dramas? Good luck. Good luck. In the same way as a bee takes honey from a flower, I should take merely what is necessary for the practice of dharma, but remain unfamiliar, as though I had never seen them before. Good grief. Well, we cannot do this so well with family, can we? Like bees that get their honey from the flowers, take only what is consonant with dharma, treat them like first-time acquaintances, without encouraging a close relationship. You can't do that with mommy, daddy, brother, sister, wife, children. With your children, can you imagine? Oh, hello, do I know you? I'm not going to have a close relationship with my children, with my wife, with my husband. Difficult, Shantideva, very difficult. Acharya ji, ye mushkil hai, but you get the meaning. When it's not family members, we can make, perhaps do better. Yeah. This is childish people he's talking about. People who really are very immature. He's not talking about other people who actually are more deeper and want to discuss meaningful things with you, and they have a very kind, good intentions. He's not talking about those people so much, is he? He's already said, he's talking about childish people. Uninstructed worldlings who are also childish. And I think childish there also has that connotation of selfish, interested in themselves. It's kind of an insult to children because children often are much more generous than adults. But he's using the word childish rather than childlike. Childlike can be something very positive in English. Childish means you're behaving in a very immature fashion. It's like people get upset when we say, oh, you're behaving like an animal. Actually, animals in many ways behave better than many human beings, right? So we have to be careful and understand what we're talking about. Yeah. So she comments on this verse of the bees getting their honey, but that like a bee that gets stuck extracting honey from flowers, not that they do very often, I think, they don't let themselves do that. When we overindulge in gossiping, boasting, and slander, it is lethal. So we should stay on good terms with each other without getting hooked. Like wise bees, we can get what sustains our good heart without getting hopelessly trapped. These teachings can be very challenging and somewhat insulting or disturbing even. But truthfully, she says, do we use our current relationships to awaken this bodhicitta, this compassionate heart? Most of us have no desire to be malicious or cause harm. But as long as we are so easily triggered and seduced, by phenomena and circumstances, we do need solitude to deepen our awareness and stability. So again and again, this emphasis on solitude. But as we've said before, this solitude doesn't have to be going away into the mountains or into the desert, like the desert fathers of the Christian tradition. It can be having a little space in your house where you make sure you have time there and that it's a time of day when you're not going to be disturbed, which is why it is useful to, as much as possible, be able to get up early, really early. Even if it means going to bed at a time which other people, some might think laughable, 9 o'clock, 9:30. You see, then you can be up by 3:30 or 4 without difficulty. You can. You just get used to it. Right now we think, 3:30, 4, I need another 2-3 hours. It's not true. If you've gone to bed earlier, then you don't need to sleep beyond 3:30 or 4. It's just, what should we say? It's just our habit. It's just the image we have. I used to think in England, getting up at 6 was really early, and people in England do, in general, because it's pretty cold in England often at that time. But in India, I feel 6 is terribly late, really late, So we can get used to getting up earlier. Then we have some solitude. It's a marvelous time of day, early morning. Whether you're in Mumbai or Delhi or wherever, marvelous. And then you can also appreciate, if you have a place you can go up a little higher, then you can see the sky, you can see sunrise sometimes. You can see the sky changing color in a very beautiful way. that we don't see if we're sleeping through till 6, 6:30, 7, you know. So anyway, it's our job to, if we're really interested, to find solitude. And also, if we get a chance for a weekend retreat or a week, 10 days, then fantastic. If we have time for more, then wonderful. We should maybe not go straight into a month or 2 months. We should start with a couple of days, a week, 10 days. Yeah. It's like becoming a brain surgeon. If this were truly our aspiration, we would go to medical school for intensive training and not try it out at home. Imagine experimenting on your mother-in-law or your least favorite person, or even your favorite person, you know, trying a little bit of brain surgery on them at home, you know, after reading a few books. I think dangerous. One would get arrested at some point also. So yeah, that we need medical school for that, you know. So we can't do everything at home, even with the best intentions. If we want to do a serious retreat, which means doing 6, 7, 8 hours a day at least, very hard to do at home. Especially if you have any kind of responsibilities, or people expect you to be, you know, talking to them and coming to the breakfast table or dining table. You can't spend 6, 7, 8 hours unless you're staying up all night doing a Shantideva, and then you sleep in the day and go to the toilet and eat, and then people criticize you. They want to kick you out of the house. Just like they wanted to kick Shantideva out of Nalanda. And what are we going to do? We're not going to start giving a great teaching, you know, which will wow them and make them say, no, 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 no. Please carry on staying up at night and sleeping in the day. We didn't realize how great you are. You know, we can't do that. So we need to be skillful in finding solitude. Shantideva is not saying that we shouldn't have friends, shouldn't keep company with others, but he is giving us advice for becoming less reactive and more wise. Stability of mind is like a candle flame, and at this point it is very vulnerable. Our candle flame of stability is very vulnerable. Solitude is like a glass chimney that keeps it from blowing out in the wind. When the flame is stable, then we can take the cover off. The wind is no longer a threat. Now, in fact, it will make the flame burn like a bonfire. Then she says, the older I get, the more drawn I am to longer periods of retreat. Yet I know that spending months in solitude is not realistic for most people. You could, however, meditate each day and do day-long or weekend retreats whenever possible. And if you can take more time, I certainly encourage you to do so. The main point is to make solitude a part of your life. We need to gain inner strength in order to deal with difficult circumstances. If even 10 or 20 minutes of meditation helps us to do this, then let's go for it. We should do it. Making good use of our limited time, the limited time from birth until death, as well as our limited time each day, is the key to developing inner steadiness and calm. One of the most inspiring stories I've heard, she said, in this regard concerns the grandmother of Ziga Kontrul Rinpoche, well-known teacher, teaching in the West. Her life was extremely demanding, but even though she worked hard from early morning until late at night, she became a highly realized person by practicing in the gaps. Whenever she wasn't talking to somebody, she would relax her mind and be present. Whether she was milking cows, washing dishes, walking from here to there, she used any opportunity to settle and expand her mind. With every pause, she found outer solitude and thus discovered an inner solitude that was unshakable and profound. So we can have discussion now. That would be good. We don't need to just go through verse after verse after verse. What's being discussed here is incredibly important. I think we should talk about these things. Also, we only have about 20 minutes left, 15, 20 minutes left. And, Mumbai wala, Faridun, will come through the door probably, exhorting me to taste some other Mumbai delicacy or go to some place nearby. I have to get up early tomorrow, so I'm not going to have no Bombay nightlife tonight. Yes. No bars, no bistros, no go-go dancing or anything for me tonight. Yes, don't look so serious, Neeraj. It's okay. I'm not being corrupted totally by Mumbai yet. The time lagega. कल गोवा जा रहा हूँ, वहां तो पूरा करप्ट हो जाएंगे वर्ल्ड कप फुटबॉल देख के, एक बहुत पुराने दोस्त के साथ. Yeah. So that's tomorrow early morning, 4:45 flight. You know, they make it quite difficult for people sometimes. So I'll try to get some sleep early. Haji, let's have some meaningful discussion. I'm just carrying on and on. I should have been an actor, then I could just be on the stage and go on and on. Okay, you can talk now, folks. हाँ जी, किसी को कुछ कहना है?
हाँ कबीर जी.
हाँ राजेश भाई बोलिए.
कबीर जी, मैं थोड़ा सा मेरे को हेल्पफुल लगा. मैं जब प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ था ना पहले तो जेलस फील करता था ना और प्रैक्टिशनर से.
हाँ.
तो फिर बाद में मैंने एक बार ध्यान लगा के बैठ के देखा तू क्यों जेलस फील कर रहा है.
हाँ.
तो बाद में मेरे को लगा कि मैं प्रेयर कर रहा हूँ, मे आई बिकम बुद्धा टू बेनिफिट ऑफ ऑल सेंटिएंट बीइंग्स.
Right.
Then I was thinking the other also praying like that.
And then the jealousy went away.
Then I rejoiced in their practice because I was seeing may they quickly become Buddha and then bring limitless benefit to sentient beings. That's helped me because I opened my mind in that direction.
Great. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's helped me. And that's helped me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. So you're still in Bodh Gaya doing your prostrations?
Yeah, I do everyday prostration. Whole day is busy.
Good. Good.
Prostration, I started Lama Chopa, and in the evening I listen Lama Zopa Rinpoche 2 hours.
Okay. But I hope you're keeping also a kind of relaxed mind, not too tense, not uptight. You're also relaxing, doing some kora or some just relaxing a bit.
Kora, I do little bit kora, but because in the evening I rest.
Yeah. Must be
because due to I want to attend Rinpoche's teaching. That's why in the evening I don't go to the temple.
Right. Okay.
I do my own practices and then I listen to the Rinpoche's teaching.
Right. Right. That's good.
Yeah, it's feeling better, but this is samsara. Always Rinpoche says samsara is sansar dukho ka ghar hai.
No, but you should rejoice in what you're doing. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, Thich Nhat Hanh said something wonderful. He said, suffering is not enough, in the sense that if we just focus on suffering, that's suffering is not enough. There's so many other things to focus on in the Dharma. Yeah. Just because it was Buddha's first teaching doesn't mean we have to only think about that. There were three other.
Rejoicing is also helpful.
Well, there are three other truths: the cause, the ending of it, and the path. So, yeah. And then it must be lovely to see all those other people practicing now. I find that's very powerful at the main temple, seeing so many people practicing. It's like you're not alone.
Yeah, I am the behind backbencher. I become backbencher when I see other people are practicing.
Acha.
I do so little if I compare myself.
ठीक है, but it's nice to see the others working hard, no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Good, good, good. So, how long are you staying in Bodh Gaya, Rajesh ji?
Let's see, maybe next month, January.
Good. I will. Can I bring you something from Mumbai, which you like? Well, it'll be from Goa because I don't have much time in Mumbai.
Anything from Guru's is blessing.
That you'll have to request Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Rajesh ji. Thank you very much. Good luck with all your activities.
My wife saying hello to you.
नमस्कार. हाँ नमस्कार. इनका देख रेख कीजिए ठीक से. कभी कभी बंदा कुछ ज्यादा ही करता है. हाँ खाना खिलाइए बढ़िया इनको. और आप भी आनंद लीजिए बोध गया का.
Okay, Guru, thank you.
There is still vibration under the.
Sorry.
There is still vibration we can feel on the under the body tree when we go there for medication. Yeah.
All vibration.
Yeah. Have you visited, sir, Global Vipassana Pagoda, Gorai, Mumbai? There is Buddha relief placed on the top of the. It's a very beautiful place.
हाँ नहीं अभी नहीं देखा.
Global Vipassana Pagoda, a very beautiful place.
Footprint.
5,000 can meditate in one time. So big.
The big Vipassana stupa.
Yeah. Global big Vipassana Pagoda, that is called. Buddha relics is placed on the top.
अच्छा.
You must visit there.
दूर से देखा.
It's a very beautiful place. Burmese style stupa.
Yeah. Looks like. Is it cold in Delhi or something? What's the matter? All these blankets. When I arrived in Mumbai, I couldn't believe how warm it was. Now I'm just wearing a kurta with a vest. It's perfect. It's warm outside.
Even in Gurgaon is 2 degrees more cold. Gurgaon is 2 degrees more cold than Delhi, where I am living in.
वो तो गुरु का ग्राम है ना, वो तो ठंडा रहेगा ही. Guru is putting you through your paces. I don't know about Noida. Noida तो बेचारे वो लोग तो पता नहीं.
Very hot, very hot.
Yeah.
So enjoy your Goa trip.
एक minute. Just finishing. Come in. Have a seat. Faridunji just arrived he's like one of these friends who are attracting one towards samsara, come and try this food, come and try that food. Look at him, just there he is. Very naughty fellow. Yeah. So I think you're not in a big hurry, right?
I'm in no hurry.
Maybe I should just stay up all night like Shantideva. What's the point of sleeping till 2 a.m.? I tell you.
I know, especially when you're in Bombay.
Yeah, when you're in Bombay.
So you know it's.
Yeah.
Live with us.
You know some good bars nearby? Yeah.
Yeah, must be.
Good. Haji, what else? Vikramji, how are you, sir? You are silent.
I'm fine. I'm doing very well, guys. I enjoyed the discussion, especially the distinction between childlike and childish. And I think it's a key distinction. And I had a question, given my ignorance of the Buddhist tradition, the reference to lower realms. If you could perhaps clarify that.
It's not a reference to, Mumbai or something compared to Delhi. It refers to very suffering states of rebirth, which are 3 in number. Animals, okay, they suffer a lot because they are at the mercy of other animals and of humans, and they don't have the ability to investigate their lives, and be free of suffering. Then there are hungry ghosts, pret, we call them in Hindi. These are beings and of course, we can see these in psychological terms as well, and existing in the human realm, beings who have tremendous thirst and hunger and wanting and are not able to get what they want, even the basics, you know. So a way of looking at it from a human point of view would be people who are literally starving to death, or just people who don't have enough to drink. But there is said to be a realm of beings whom we cannot see, who actually are in such a state, you could say, perpetually in their life of hunger and thirst. So that's the Preta realm. Then there's the hell realm. So again, we can see it in human life. People may go through hellish suffering, like burning alive in a building, or, you know, being tortured, or all the other things that can happen to us. But again, for Buddha, it's not just something that can happen to us as a human or an animal. It's something which we can wake up into after death. Like we can go into a nightmare at night. So imagine a very, 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 very long and horrible nightmare. So that kind of thing. So those are the lower realms. The upper realms are human, demigods, and gods. Yeah. So
Thank you, Kabirji. Thank you.
And worthwhile studying about them in the texts to see what the traditional texts say about them, and then to also look at them from a psychological point of view, but also to remember that everything we experience is a reflection of our mind, is a projection of our mind based on our karma. So a simple example, the karma of a fish is to see water as their home, but water is not a human being's home, right? We have a different karma with water. We drink it, you know, but we don't live in it unless we're in some bubble, you know, under the sea, some kind of Jules Verne novel we're participating in. But most people don't live under the sea, right? Or swim around breathing, you know, without apparatus. Our karmic vision is different, you know. You can see that a dog has a different vision of the world, a different experience of the world than us. So it's like, yeah, different karmic vision. Do you want to plug that in? There's one there. It's easier here.
It's okay. No,
So like that, there are different visions, you could say, based on karma. And we can have it day to day. One day you may wake up in the morning and feel dreadful, whereas the previous day you felt okay, you know, things were all right. And the next day, you know, it's not because you have some terrible agony in the body, but you just feel bad or afraid or anxious, or, you know, and that whole day can be totally different from the previous day. It's just a different karma is ripening. There's a different kind of film passing through, you know, which is being projected onto the screen. So yeah, and the more we create unwholesome action, the more we're going to get very unhappy, suffering karmic vision, karmic experience. And the more we are positive, the more the opposite. Okay, just maybe a few more minutes. All these books, anything? I bought all these books. Tintin, I have Tintin book. I have a Tintin book. I bought a Tintin book at the airport. Nowadays, you can get 3 in 1. 3 books in 1 volume. Can you imagine?
Which ones did you get, Kabirji?
I got one of my favorites, Destination Moon, Explorers on the Moon. And then the third one there is, I think, Calculus Affair or something. But I used to love it.
Huh? You get it in Tibet. That's my favorite.
That I have already. Yeah, that I have already. That's a good one. Yes. Do you have Tintin in Turkey? Yeah, you have in Turkey. Good, good, good. This kind of culture should be spread throughout the universe. Tintin on Mars, Tintin. Yeah. Martians should be reading Tintin. Asterix as well, yes. Yeah, I mean, when Shakespeare is long forgotten, Tintin will still be remembered, I'm sure. Well, maybe not.
Tintin, Kabirji got Maya out of the woodwork.
Ah, that's what I saw, yes. Yeah, she's going to protest and mention some obscure 19th century poet or something.
No.
No. I love Tintin.
But you don't
I
teach
do.
Tintin. You could teach
We
Tintin.
can't, unfortunately, but I grew up on Tintins. I mean, we used to be crazy about it. So,
Really? Good.
there was this, what was that emerald lady, the castor-foil emerald? That was quite funny.
First of your emerald, yes.
There's this operatic woman.
Operatic. Yeah, that's quite good.
But
Yeah.
Tintin in Tibet was quite something. Chang, his friend, and
Yes. Yeah, very moving. That was very moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Yeti and the monks and all that.
yeah, that's and the Hindi speaking Nepali porter that really got to me.
Yes.
They actually had a Hindi script in it.
Yes. Yeah, he should have been speaking Nepali, but he was speaking Hindi maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Captain Haddock who sort of rams into him, and this fellow gets very angry.
Haddock is, yes, he shows the
Haddock is drunk
disadvantages
as
of anger. Yes.
He's drunk as usual, so he's.
Yeah.
Kabir, wanted to. Now that I've grabbed you, I realize that you're traveling, and are you going to be? No, this is important.
Of course it is. Yes.
Are you going to have access to internet for the next 2 days? Okay,
Yes.
because the talk with Jay Garfield has just been fixed,
Oh,
and we wanted to call you as the chair for it. It's at the IIC.
what? The chair for what?
To chair the session. That's the ritual at the India International Center. There's a speaker.
Someone in Delhi should chair it. I can't
No,
chair it.
it's not now. It's on the 21st of January.
वो हो सकता है, maybe, but it should be someone more erudite like your good self. That would be
No.
better.
So we decided, I talked with Tete, and so he's going to be speaking on violence, non-violence and Buddhism. And we thought you'd be, just the right person.
Yeah, we can discuss separately. Yeah, that's great. Okay, whatever.
So can your name
right. Okay.
21st evening? Yeah, because they're going to put out flyers and so. Can they give you a name?
What? Give me a name?
Can they
What's that?
put down your name? Can your name be officially given as
21st January. Yeah, World Cup is over. Yeah, should be all right. Yep. Should be good. Thank you. I'll try not to dash off to somewhere else at that time.
Yeah. So
hold
I'll get
on.
back to you. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, there's this wonderful, yeah. Can I contact you tomorrow?
Sure. But they just want to put out the flyers as soon as possible. So just please let me know.
Tomorrow morning, I'll let you know. I get to go very early. I'll let you know later in the morning. Yeah, good.
I thought I'd just catch you now because, I realize you're traveling. So it's good to.
Yeah, sure. No, tomorrow ho jayega.
आपने वैसे कहा था, I discussed it with you earlier. We were planning to call him to Tushita.
Yes. Did we have the date?
Yeah, 21st and 22nd were the dates, and you said we can do either day. So I was assuming that you'll be in Delhi.
Okay. Yeah.
I just thought I'd check with you once.
Okay then. Yeah, if I said so, then that's fine. Yeah. Good.
Okay. Good. Because you said you know him, so I thought it'd be.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a nice rapport there.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Anybody else? Anyone disagree with Shantideva? So be ready to defend your position. Nitya, we are not going to attack Shantideva's position. Nitya, Divya. Divya, probably sometimes you might think you would like to have some solitude, right?
Yes, I mean, I just reflecting on whatever you said. I mean, there's nothing to say as such.
Okay. Okay. I hope you're okay. Good. Good. Chalo, well, I think a good place to stop and dedicate. And there's so much to reflect on just in those few verses. And yeah, we can dedicate the session with a few verses from the dedication chapter of Shantideva's. That this is very relevant for me right now. May I live and be sustained by simple common foods, and in all my lives may I find the ideal solitude for practicing dharma. In order to fulfill the needs of beings who reach unto the ends of space, may my way of life be just like that of Manjushri. For as long as space endures, and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the misery of the world. I prostrate to Manju Ghosh, Manjushri, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters, through whose kindness I develop. So please pray never to be separated from the holy dharma and from the teachers who can unravel it properly and instruct us on how to transform our lives. May those teachers have long and healthy lives and all their dharma wishes be fulfilled. So until then, until we attain Buddhahood, may our lives be supremely meaningful for others. Okay, thank you very much. There'll be a Sunday morning session at 11 a.m. from Goa. Yeah, from the beach. Well, maybe not the beach, but somewhere where I can get internet access, but not a 5-star hotel. Okay, good night. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.